This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be going all over the country on journeys. We're going to be going to all the national parks around the country. All these beautiful places. We're going to be taking photographs, sending postcards, experiencing the parks, going through airports, moving around. Today we're talking about Trekking the National Parks from Bink Inc. This is a 2 to 6 player family level game that was kickstarted a couple years ago, I think in 2014, and is now becoming pretty popular. It's sort of a Ticket to Ride level strategy family game. Let me show you it's played. I'll see you on the other side. Here we have Trekking the National Park set up for 3 players. I want to talk a little bit about these components. First of all, there's a large board. It's a big 6-panel board, about the same size as a Ticket to Ride board. I want to point out the characters. These are very large people here. On other videos that I've watched, you can't tell how big it is, but it is. It's almost the size of 3/4 of my finger there. These are actually really large and chunky wooden bits, and these gems are very heavy and very high quality. I also want to note the extra mile they went in putting all the major parks in here. So if you're not sure or you're not aware of some of the parks that are in the game, every single one of these has historic information with nice pictures and tells you what you can do there, has a little trivia, and actually shows you the card that's in the game for it. You can actually learn a lot of history along with playing the game. This is an excellent touch. And also the bag that all these gems come in is a nice leather bag here. Excellent quality again. Now overall, you're going to be traveling around the country, you're going to be picking up gems, you're going to be going to different national parks and sort of claiming some cards there. Because on your turn, it's very simple. You can either draw a card, move, or claim a park card. It's that simple. You get to do 2 different actions or 2 of the same, but you get to do any 2 of these. That's your whole turn. It moves very quickly and is extremely simple. Now the first action, drawing a card that you can do, here are the Trek cards. There's always 5 available, and there is a draw deck. Everybody will start with 5 cards that they keep secret, and here are actually some of the suits. We have boots, bear claw, we have the mountains, the forest, the fire, and the canoe. So there's only 6 suits, if you will, or colors in the game, and they have different numbers. So you start with cards, and you can draw a card. If I draw a card, let's say I draw this one, it does not get replaced until the end of my turn. That's one of my actions as I took a card. If I want to take another card for my second and last action, I could take one of these, or I could take one off the top. You could also take 2 off the top at the beginning of your turn. So essentially, if you're going to take a card action, take it from here or here, and you get 2 actions per turn. After your turn's over, this will now refill for the next player. Now let's talk about moving. You can move around the different spots, but why would you move? You're trying to pick up these gems, and you're also trying to fulfill some park cards. Now claiming these park cards is the main way you get points shown here in the game. What you do is you have to go to that location, be there, and have the corresponding cards to turn in to get that card. Now when we put these out, there's always 1 more than per player. So for 3 players like we're playing today, there's 4, but it scales for the number of players. We also, if you don't know where it is, it actually tells you the state, and they're numbered, and we put them from lowest number to highest number, which shows you basically west to east, so it's a little easier to find on the map. But let's go look at this Voyagers. It's in Minnesota. And we all start on this start space right here. It's an airport. More about airports later. We're going to go here. Look at this. This says 3 and this says 1. When you move for your turn, you can move as far as you would like. You have lots of cards. I could, if I want to, just play this 3 for one of my move actions, and I can move. I have to have the exact number. I can't go over. I can move 3. That is one of my 2 actions for my turn. If I end my action on this, I can take this gem and put it in front of me. I'll tell you what these do in just a moment. Then for a second card, I could play the 1 and move here, and I can take this gem. Now, conversely, what I could have done is I could have, if I wanted to move really fast, I could have said, for my first action, I'm going to turn in the 3 and the 1. This is going to allow me to move all the way there. I go 3 and 1, and I only take this gem because I didn't stop there. So because I went through there, I only take the white gem. Well, what does that allow me to do? I moved from here to here in one of my actions. I still have 1 left over because you always get 2 actions per turn. For my second action, I have a canoe and a boot. All I need is one canoe and one boot. The numbers don't mean anything when you're claiming these, it's just the suits. If I was going for this one and I was at the Grand Canyon, I need any 3 cards that's boots. The numbers mean nothing. So I would need 3 individual boot cards to get this if I was in the Grand Canyon. Here I'm in Voyagers, I have to be there, and then I traded 1 canoe and 1 this. These get discarded. I get this, it goes face down in front of me. These are points at the end of the game. That was my second action. So now that my turn's over, this will get replaced, and then we'll put them back in order. And again, there it is. Those don't get replaced at the end of the turn. So you'll notice that when we moved, we don't care about the suit. It's just the numbers. But when we claimed those, we didn't care about the numbers. It's just the suit. So they're sort of double use cards in this game. Now we talked about those gems. Why are they so important? Well, if you look at the top, there's 8 bonus cards that are placed. They're all 5 points apiece. And you'll see most blue, most red, most orange, most white, most black, most yellow, most green. Whoever has the most of those gems at the end of the game is going to get 5 bonus points, but if you have tied, no one wins it. And then at the right, there's most park cards. Those are those claimed cards that I just got from turning in those cards. So those are end game bonuses that you're trying to go for, but you can see what they are, and you can see what gems other people are collecting, and you're trying to set, collect, and beat other people for those gems. So as you're moving around, there's tough decisions to make. Do you stop and try to get gems? Do you go out of your way to get one that you think you want to protect because you have the most gems? Some interesting strategies as you move around. Now, as we move around, let's say my guy was here and this player wanted to move. Well, if there's somebody at a spot, you cannot go through them or go past them. This person blocks the spot. So there is some blocking in this game. So if I wanted to get Rocky Mountain, I would go there. Even if I don't have the cards yet to get it, I could sit there on my turn and draw cards, trying to get it there, but trying to block and stay in that spot. But there's these airports as well. From an airport, you can move for one movement to any of the other airports in the game. You can move from any airport to any airport. When you go to an airport, you stop. Now, what you could do is move like from up here. I could spend 4, 5, 6, 7. I could spend 7. Which brings me to the airport, and I immediately get to go to another airport, and then I stop. That would be one movement action. So it allows you to move around quite a bit on the board. That really is the whole game mechanically. It's very simple. You're either picking up cards, or you're using those cards to either move or claim park cards. That's the whole game mechanically, but there's a lot of depth in here as you try to fight for the bonuses of this set collection of gems. Now there is an advanced variant you can play this game for a little. If you've played it a few times, you can move on to this. This has one more bonus, which is most total stones. And so this gets added to one of the bonus cards. Then there's these postcards. For a turn, instead of doing one of the other normal actions, which is drawing a trek card, claiming a park card, or moving, you can pick up one of these postcards. The cool thing about these postcards, you keep them secret. Nobody else knows what you have here. And none of these are places on the board, but they're places that you went to that you're sending a postcard from. So the cool thing is, on your turn, you've spent one turn to get this card, and you can spend another turn to discard these cards to get 3 points, and you don't have to be here because it's on the board. Basically, you can be anywhere and do it. That's the cool part. The bad part is, if you have any of these at the end of the game, you get minus points for any of them. That's it, but it does add another layer of depth and strategy. Now the game ends in one of two ways. Either the last card gets claimed and the last card from the top goes here. Everyone else gets one more turn, including the person that triggered it. Now the size of this deck changes and scales with the amount of players. That's one way to end it. The other way is the last stone is grabbed. And same thing, everybody, including the person that grabbed the last stone, gets one more turn. At the end, you go through each of the bonus cards and you hand those out for who had the most stones of each color. And everybody adds any bonuses they got with all of the park cards that they've claimed, and that's your total points. Whoever has the most is the winner. If it's tied, whoever has the most stones is the winner. After that, you share the victory. And actually, this game is very balanced. I've seen it go to tiebreakers actually very often. All right, well, there you have it. Well, I had not even heard of this game before Z Garcia had mentioned it as his game of the month last month, and I immediately just took a look at it. It looked very interesting. As you know, Ticket to Ride is one of my favorite games. I just love how it's simple, but yet there's good depth there. You can bring people in the hobby, but yet you can play it with gamers and still have a lot of fun. This game makes no secret that it was inspired by Ticket to Ride, and obviously it is. It's got that level of depth and complexity. If you've watched my videos, you often hear me talk about the depth to complexity ratio. And essentially what that means is my sweet spot are games that only have a few rules. In this game, you can do 3 things on your turn. That's it. That's it. 3 things. But with those three things, there's a good amount of depth, good amount of strategy, and good decisions to make, and I like that. So as a whole, I love how the theme fits. I love the components. Now, this is a Kickstarter game, but the components are amazing. The bag, the board is nice, the artwork's cool, the gems are nice and heavy. And by the way, the designer for this, I actually met locally. I found out he's in Phoenix, and I went and talked with him, and come to find out that not only did he design the game himself, he's an artist. He did all the artwork. And his parents and himself, they spent all his childhood going through all the national parks, and this was sort of inspired by that, and it's leaving a legacy, living the legacy of his family, which I think is a cool thing. All the pictures in the game of these national parks were from his dad's photographs while they were there. Just really cool how this was inspired and brought together, and I really think that's a cool aspect of this game. The components are awesome. The gameplay is simple, yet deep. I like it. Now, it's not like this huge, epic strategy game. It's a quick family level game on the level of Ticket to Ride. Sure, there's a lot of similarities to Ticket to Ride. You're moving around a board. You could possibly block people when you move. You've got these cards that you're picking up. You're playing the cards to move. There's a lot of similarities there, but it still feels very different from Ticket to Ride at the same time. It's weird. It feels very similar, but yet it still feels different. The whole gem collection, majority just really makes it feel a lot different. You're constantly deciding, am I going to go there and get this park card before somebody else and block somebody who I think's moving there because they're picking up a bunch of those cards? Or am I going to go over here and get a bunch of blue gems and get in the lead? Oh, I see, I've got 3 yellow gems. This person has 2. I'm going to go over here, even though I don't really want to right now, but I'm going to solidify that lead. And it's like, it just opens up another layer of depth that Ticket to Ride didn't have about trying to do this, but at the same time, keeping it simple. So overall, I love it. I love also that they have the advanced variant of, adding those postcards. Another thing that you can do. I'm going to take a card. It's going to be a hidden goal, and then I can do it anytime, but it's minus points. It's almost like taking a Ticket to Ride route card. It's a little bit dangerous. It's risky, but it gives you another thing to do on your turn if you can't do anything else. I like how those goals are open, which is you can actually see what people are going for, and you can adjust accordingly. The only thing I first didn't like about the game is when you take a card, you don't replenish it like in Ticket to Ride. I talked to the designer about it, and he said, yeah, well, we want to keep the rules very easy and streamlined because you don't fill a national park card after somebody gets it until after the turn, and that makes sense because you don't want them to be able to do 2 in a row on the same turn. So they want to keep the rules easy and consistent. Also, there's, I think, 2 less suits than in Ticket to Ride. So by flipping another one up right away, gives you an advantage, makes luck a little bit easier, for you, more of a factor there. So you want to make it a little bit more hard decision making. And after I heard that explanation, I played it a few more times. It totally makes sense, and I've gotten over that fact now, and I really like it. So overall, if you're looking for a family level game that's somewhat similar to Ticket to Ride, but yet different, this is one you've got to check out. Top-notch components, fun game. It's up there on some of my favorite family games ever, actually. Huge thumbs up to this. Don't sleep. Check this one out. Thanks, Zia Garcia, for pointing this one out to me. Trekking the National Parks. Check this one out. And I love this game so much, I'm going to be keeping it. And I'm going to, because of this, I'm going to induct it into my gaming library with a saxophone serenade.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.